straight am I? I just okay. Okay, we make sure we got our back skirt. Okay, this time we want the hip measurement. Okay, hip measurement. But I'm not even going to measure how high this is. I'm just going to take this measurement because I want it to match. Okay, so if your slopers aren't that perfect, you just take the front measurement. Okay, so this time we're not going to make a rectangle. I know this measurement was 8 and 1/8, I think. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so 8 and 1/8. Everybody's different. Okay, so I'm going to get the same height. 8 and 1/8. Okay. Right like that. Oops, cook it. Okay. Alrighty. And we're going to play hangman. So we're going to draw. Okay, so we're going to draw a scaffold. Okay. It's not going to be a rectangle. Okay, we're going to have this there. Okay, so it's the hip measurement of the back sloper and then the height of this over here. And then we're putting this guideline here. Now what I forgot to do is when I place the hip here, I should have marked where the waistline hits the guideline. So just put a little mark right there, like that. That's
the
it.
skirt back?
Yeah, right here. Yeah, the skirt waist. Okay, like so. And so these are the markings for the back. Okay, so it's this waistline mark, the hip, the height of the front, and then the guideline. Okay, so it's not a rectangle. Okay, then we get the back. Okay, what you want to do is on the side seam, measure 2 inches and put a parallel line on your back piece. Okay, we're going to be pivoting this thing, that's why. The book slashes, but I think you understand pivoting, so I'm just going to go right into the easier stuff. Okay, so here's your back bodice. Okay. See, this is a format which I could try to explain every single thing why we're doing it, but it really, it's also some things you cannot explain. So, okay, here it is. I placed my bodice waist right there at that mark of the skirt waist marker. Okay, and I'm going to draw everything from this 2-inch. Okay, I know I'm a little smaller, so I cheat a little bit. And I made mine a little smaller, even though the 2 inches is there. I went 1.5 inches because it formulates better because it's going to hit around here on a regular normal size. Okay, so just going to draw my, and this is my supposedly 2-inch mark right there, and then measure everything around here. Oops, this one's getting dry. Okay. And I'm stopping at my 2-inch mark, the parallel line. Okay. Alrighty, now what I'm going to do is at this point where the parallel line is made, I'm going to pivot this over till this point hits the guideline. And everybody's going to be different in the way they place things, okay? And so from sloper to sloper is going to, so you pivot this until that hits the guideline. Now the reason for that is that now this is the same length as this, okay? Because the side seam's got to be sewn together. So if your sloper's been cut really nicely and everything else, you basically gonna have it matching. Okay, so crooked. Okay, so this is what you're seeing right now. When we have this kind of, hangman's noose there, okay, we use this point, the 2-inch parallel, and we pivot at this point so that the side seam hits the guideline. So now this height is the same as this height is the same as this height. Supposed to match. Okay. Alrighty, so you're in this situation. Okay, now we gotta cut out the, if I can find my scissors. Cut out the front. And we're gonna take this curve to the front. Now I almost follow the book except for the measurement of the hip. And I'm putting this here instead of in the side seam. Okay. And because I kind of did a sheet in another format when I was learning. So when I got the book, I had to figure out what the author was trying to do. And I kind of superimposed my ideas to make it easier, I think. And she doesn't put this rule in, but I will give it to you. Anytime you have something hanging from the side seams, like a skirt, a muumuu, a sheath, okay, there's no waistline holding it up. That seam should be the same length, the same flare, and the same grain. Okay, so if you can kind of keep that in mind, everything we do will have a good pattern comes out that way. Okay, so all right, we're going into now a little bit more. Okay, so now I got this one. Okay, now, oh, I gotta cut this part too. The center. Okay, we're gonna transfer the front side seam to the back, so it's going to be the same length, the same curve, or the flare, curve or flare, and the same grain. Okay. All right. So this is how you get it. You have to face it down. Place this underarms together like that, under points there. Okay. Now to get the same grain, because we know it's the same, we're going to transfer the curve. To make it the same grain, we're going to put center back and center front parallel to each other. So some patterns you're going to have them like mine almost on top of each other. I'm almost the same front and back. Wait, hold on, let me get it. Okay, is it parallel? Yeah, there's parallel. So at this point, holding there, and the center front and center back parallel to each other. Right now, I have same grain. You can see that. Okay, and now I'm going to take the curve, and I'm going to have the same flare and the same length. Okay, all right. So I kind of have to be true to my theory. Okay, so I'm going to transfer, and sometimes this thing, wow, it kind of goes different or whatever. So, and then take the waistline there. Okay. And if I'm sloppy, this is what happens when you're sloppy. That comes out that way. Okay, so if it is so, you find out what this distance is and parallel that across. Okay, yes, it has to be a parallel. Okay, with the original side. Okay, if you're not sloppy, you don't have that problem. But I'm not sure how. So this is parallel to this. Okay, I should use a ruler, but that's right. Okay, all right. So now, what I have just put in is what's going to be the back sheet. All of this. Okay. Okay, what time is it? No, time to go. Okay, look in your book, because on Wednesday, we will put in the darts on this thing. And we're going to make our half sizes together so that you can fit it. Then we're going to lick the sheet, the cheongsam, and we're on to another adventure. Okay? Alrighty. So